What if I told you that most millionaires didn't make money from their jobs, but actually generated income from their assets, and that the biggest asset class is investment property? In fact, rich and wealthy people have a minimum of 6 ways of making money from investment properties and building wealth. You see, it's not about flipping houses. That doesn't even scratch the surface. It's about holding property long term to build your wealth. From monthly cash flow to forced appreciation, I have 6 ways of building wealth from property, and by the end of this video, you're going to have all of them. And you never know, perhaps it will inspire you to start building wealth with property, just like I started just 3 years ago with no experience. Hi, my name's Rob. I'm Building Wealth Simplified, and up until 47 years old, I was a heavy consumer, and I turned it all around to become a saver and an investor. And now I'm on a mission with this channel to help you do the same for you and your family. Okay, let's get straight into it. Number 1, cash flow. So the most obvious way of building wealth from property is the cash flow you're going to get from your tenants. They're going to pay down your mortgage with the rent. You provide a service for them and they'll cover your rent. And that's a good income. Now that sounds all great and maybe a little bit passive, but you have to ensure that the rent you collect from your tenants covers all the bills, not just the mortgage. You have your taxes, you have your utility bills, there's maintenance covers, there's annual taxes to pay as well. Now there are a few other things you have to consider too. Some of the bigger things is ensuring the property is in the area with a rental demand, and then also the bigger maintenance costs. These would be things like the roof, the furnace, maybe windows and doors. You have to put a budget aside every month or maybe every year to ensure those are covered. Now these are a bigger maintenance costs and they don't come around too often, but you need to make sure you've got a small budget in your account to cover them when they do come around. Like an emergency fund. It's bigger than changing the faucet or cut the grass. Changing the furnace, the hot water tank, or even the roof will cost thousands of dollars. So you want to make sure you've got that money put aside. The great thing about cash flow, it's very regular. It comes in every month and you can totally use that to support your lifestyle. The more units you have, the more cash flow. Us, we don't tend to touch the cash flow. We'll leave it in the bank account. We're not in it for the cash flow. We've got bigger things on the horizon, and that leads us nicely into number 2. Thanks very much for clicking on the video today. I appreciate you being here. Perhaps give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, maybe even share the video. In the meantime, let's get back to the video. Oh, look at this kitchen, it's beautiful. Number 2, appreciation. Now, unless you buy a property in a particularly bad area, in a particularly bad market, your property is going to grow somewhere between 3 and 6% every single year. That's appreciation, that's growing wealth. And that's one of the most exciting things I find about investment property. It's almost a guaranteed return. You have highs and lows, but like the stock market, over a period of time, you're probably looking between 3 and 6% appreciation. Now, the great thing about appreciation, it will help hedge your investment against inflation, but also you're going to have those surge years. So some years the market will go down and some years the market will go up. And it's those markets when they go up, which is particularly exciting. You could even sell a property at the height of a market and really cash in. A great example of this is buying a property in a low market when the market is down and the property is much cheaper. You can get yourself a real deal. You can then do some renovations on that. You could hold it for 5 to 10 years. And when you have a high market again, you can sell it for a profit. And all that time, your mortgage is being paid down by your tenants. It's a great way to build wealth. Now for us, all the properties we've purchased and invested into over the years, we haven't sold one of them yet. And I don't think we're going to sell them in the future. We have a long-term strategy and we plan to use our properties as leverage, and that's going to be number 3. Now with a traditional mortgage, you generally put down 20% and get a mortgage for 80% of the value. That means you control 100% value of the property with just 20% down, and that gives you leverage. Now you can leverage 100% of the value of that property towards your goals. Another great advantage we've learned over the past 3 years and taken advantage of is actually leveraging old properties to purchase new properties. For most of the properties we've invested into, we've actually gone down the route of private lending, and we can leverage the value of the old properties to purchase a new one. We then build up the value of that one and we can pay out from a mortgage from a bank. By leveraging our portfolio, we can bypass traditional routes of lending and actually build our portfolio much faster. It's the power of leveraging and the way it could open up doors really blew our minds and showed us how fast we could build a portfolio by doing it this way. Number 4, equity buildup. This is also an exciting principle. As your tenants are paying down your mortgage, they're actually transferring the ownership of that property from the bank to you. You're building your equity over time. And unlike the stock market where you tend to dollar cost average every single month, the equity in your property is building without any further cash investment. Your tenants are paying it down. And of course, just like we discussed in number 3, that equity can be leveraged. The more equity you have, the more leverage you have, and the more properties you can purchase. Number 5, forced appreciation. Now this was a big ticket for me. This is the one that got me so excited about building investment properties and building a property portfolio, because it's all down to renovations, and I love renovations. So forced appreciation is literally what it says. You're buying a property and you're forcing the appreciation with renovations. You're going to add the value yourself. Now you can do this in numerous ways. You can do a straightforward renovation, similar to what we're doing right here. We've got a new kitchen, new flooring, new lighting. It looks like a whole new place. You could also buy a property and split it into units. So maybe you get a single dwelling and split it into a duplex or even a triplex. So instead of getting rent from one property, you're actually getting rent from unit 1, unit 2 and unit 3. You can really diversify your cash flow. Now doing large scale renovations like that, or smaller ones like this one here, you build that into your fund. So when you purchase your property, your renovation cost is in that purchase price. The key thing is you sit down and do your math. Ensure your refinancing plan covers everything. If you do it correctly, you get the property covered by mortgage and your renovation costs as well. And your tenant is paying that mortgage down. You've come out of it with a property that hasn't cost you a single dollar. For me, the forced appreciation is the biggest win. I get to leverage my high-end skills and actually have fun doing it. And on some of our properties, we actually come out with a nice tax-free check. As I said previously, I don't plan to retire. I'm doing exactly what I love to do, and I'm a very lucky boy. Number 6, tax advantages. Okay, this is the boring bit. Nobody wants to talk about taxes, but you can get a lot of depreciation and a lot of value back from your properties and get tax deductions. There's a whole raft of tax deductions and tax benefits to holding investment property, and you can claw back a lot of money. When you think about it, all the rich and wealthy people have properties for this very reason. So speak to a financial advisor or your accountant and get the lowdown on what they all are. There are some big benefits there, and you should take advantage of every single one. Bonus number 7, passive equity. Now, if you're a person that is a bit nervous about holding the property and the maintenance costs and all the other costs that could come up with the physical ownership of the property, you can bypass that completely and invest into a REIT or do crowdfunding. By being a private investor, you get a great return and you get to work with people who are passionate about building wealth too. Many people that don't want the hassle of holding physical property will invest passively so they can diversify their portfolio. They want the returns and they want the diversification. So this is a great option for people like that. Now, probably the biggest challenge for us at the beginning was actually changing our mindset and move away from cash flow and working out all these other benefits of holding property. We just had no idea until we got educated and realized the power of equity and the power of leverage. Once you throw in all those tax benefits and tax deductions and the leverage against inflation, it really is a fantastic way of building wealth, and I wouldn't do it any other way. Now, as I've said before, we do invest in other asset classes, including the stock market, but these are very much our plan B. Our plan A is investment properties, purely because I enjoy it so much and we're getting pretty good at it. Now, the goal for us long term is for my wife to eventually give up her job and for me to work on my own terms, and eventually we'll pass this portfolio down to our kids unless something changes. We plan to acquire more properties and build this portfolio over time. Like I said before, I enjoy doing it and it will keep me out of trouble. But for most people looking to replace their income or even retire, you may only need a small portfolio of a few properties. I know one person that decided to retire last year with just 3 properties. Developing a small portfolio of investment properties can lead you to financial freedom. And the best thing for me is you can pass this down as a legacy to your kids or to other family members. It really doesn't have to be this huge sprawling portfolio. It may just be a few properties, whatever fits into your financial plan, whatever's going to work for you and your retirement plan. And it all starts with that first property. And like your first love, your first property is usually a bit special. I'm going to leave a video right here on how we got our first one, all the challenges we faced, and all the things we found out about it. And yes, we still have our first one, and it is a bit special. I'll see you there.